There's one Excel question I get asked more than any other. How do I open a password protected file when I've forgotten the password? This video is my answer to that question. Okay, let's be exactly clear on what we're talking about here. I'm talking about opening a file that has password protection on the actual file itself. So an encrypted file that you cannot even open unless you have the password. If you can already open the spreadsheet and the password is on the actual sheets themselves or whatever, then I've got another video that shows you 3 good ways that you can crack those passwords. So have a look at the description, the link's in there or probably on screen right now. There's actually lots of different types of password that an Excel file can have. Quick summary then, what we're looking at: modify passwords, remove them by saving the file as something else. Open passwords, that's what I'm going to focus on here. Sheet passwords, go to my other video if you want to remove one of those. VBA passwords, we'll do that here today. Workbook passwords, I'll show you briefly at the end an overview of a technique you can use to remove that. So kind of got it all covered now, right? But few caveats first, right? So it is going to take time and money to do this. Why is it going to cost you money? Because you are going to either need some software, which you're going to have to buy, or you're going to have to use an online service, which will charge you to do this. How much is this going to cost you? Right? Well, the answer is it depends. So to open a workbook, so I've got 4 examples here. This one was made in Excel 97, right, or to 2003. That one, that's going to cost you less and take you less time. And not only that, you don't even need any software to do it, right? Great stuff, you might think. Although with the software will do that as well. But yeah, you can do that software free. There's a website I will show you in a second. Then I've got 3 files with increasingly complicated passwords. So the password is actually the file name. So this one is a dictionary attack. The password is actually the word dictionary. This one, the password is up for Excel. It's got capitals and numbers in it, so that makes it harder to crack. And then this one is just some like crazy thing with symbols, lowercase numbers, letters, etc., etc. Right. Okay, what do you want to know? You want to know how much this is going to cost, don't you? Right, so the first one then, this Excel 97 to 2003. I go here. So you can use this website, AccessBack, link in the description. This will remove any passwords on spreadsheets and actually Excel Word documents with the extension XLS or .doc in the case of a Word. Right? You choose your file, you upload it. You put in the email address, so I've done that earlier. I'm waiting to hear back from them. And what they will do is learn how it works. So you will receive a screenshot of the decrypted file. So in other words, they're basically going to get into it, show you what it looks like, and then ask you for some money. How much money are they going to ask you for? Well, depends how many you can buy credit packs. All these links are in the description, and just at full open honesty here, these are affiliate links, so it doesn't cost you anything, but I will obviously get something if you use it, so I get a small commission if you use it. So it's a good way to support the channel at no cost to you. But anyway, how much is going to cost you? Right. Depends on the tax rate actually in which country you're in. So for me, I'm looking at it from the UK, but I'm showing it in US dollars because it's a pretty universal language for most people. $8 US to open one file, crack one file. But you can buy a pack of 5 for $30, so that's going to be more like $6 each. And then you can also buy a pack of 10. But to be honest, right, I mean, the main advantage of this method, I guess, is that you don't need any software. You send it off. They promise 24 hours. They'll send something back within 24 hours. So I guess that's beauty. But actually, the software I'm going to show you for Excel is $40. So, you know, and this will do the same job. So arguably, why not just buy the software, right, rather than 10 of these? Okay. Right, and then there is an alternative software as well. So this one just cracks Excel files and it just uses your core processor. That kind of upgrade, if you like, software is this Office Password Recovery. Now I'm showing the standard license because it's the one that's got all the benefits, but you can get corporate licenses and things like that. This one uses your GPU as well. Now that can be very important depending on how much you know about the password. In fact, I would say it's probably almost critical if you don't know much about your password, because it's going to massively speed things up. They're sort of saying something in the region of 10 times faster if you're using the GPU. All right. Right, let's start cracking some file open passwords. So we'll start off by trying to use the Excel based software. So this is uses just your core processor, but it's a lot cheaper. So a third of the price, in fact, of the kind of more advanced software that's on offer here. Right, to open up this software, now I'm going to do my best to do a bit of a decent sort of review here, but I'm not going to go through absolutely everything about this software because there's so many different options. So the critical things that I think that you probably want to know is, well, does it work? Well, the answer is depends on the amount of time you've got to spend. So and how much you know about the password. Yes, it works. It's found a few passwords for me. You can see on screen here. It's found a couple of the passwords. I'd say, in summary, this one here with the random numbers and letters and, you know, a percentage sign and things like that, unless you've got some clue about that password, forget it. You'll see why in a minute. You're going to be, you know, your great grandchildren will still be waiting for that to be cracked. Right, let's start with an easy one then. The dictionary attack. Right, in it goes. You can see it's already cracked this one. You can use their attack scenarios, so they've got like various ones here. So this one I happen to know from running it many a time. It's got about 185 million passwords it tries to use, and it just goes through. So it's presumably based on their experience of the kind of passwords people use. When I used that, it failed to find the password up for Excel, but it did find the password dictionary. Now, when I say it failed to find the up for Excel password, I ran it overnight for 3 nights running. And actually, there's one great thing about this software, actually, and that is that you can hit this stop button at any time, and then the play button, and it'll just resume from where you left off, or it gives you the option to. So it's kind of handy because although it runs in the background and it's possible to do things like surf the web or something, what it's definitely not possible to do is run spreadsheets. Crikey, I mean, it makes your spreadsheets run like a total dog if you've got this one trying to crack passwords in the background. You know, kind of forget it. You want to be pausing it if you want to do any kind of serious work on your computer and run it overnight. So yeah, effectively free overnight runs to go through all 185 million passwords that it says it was going to try. Didn't find it at the end of it. So just bear that in mind. This is not a guarantee that that's going to work. Brute force, right? So just show you quickly brute force. So this one, you can say which types of characters you want to use. So if we go up here, let's just clean up this screen a bit, right? So all uppercase letters, right? And you can set your password lengths here. So let's be a bit realistic about this, right? You're not going to have a 1 character long password. That's ridiculous. So let's go from 4 to 8. Now look at that. Straight away, just capital letters, 26 years for a 4 to 8 digit long password. And even if you know it definitely is 8, still doesn't make a lot of difference. 25 years, roughly 209 billion passwords to check. Yeah, you can see why I say forget it. Add in small characters, you're now up to like 6,500 years. Add in some numbers, you're now like 27,000 years. Add in your special characters. Look at this, look, craziness, right? Imagine if you go up to 10, say you want to go to 10 character long passwords. Can't do it, next big bang. A little comedy value in here, right? So, how are you going to do this? Well, let's take off the specials. We're still at some sort of ludicrous amount of years. What do we know about it? Say you think the word password is somewhere in there. You could try sort of, it starts with, so it's definitely password. Then it's sort of, I don't know, like maybe try a 3-digit number after the word password. Yeah, that's going to take 15 minutes, right? So not too bad. Yeah, so that's brute force attack. We then have, push the sort of play button here. Brute force with extended mask. Now this gives you, there's an entire, I'm not going to go through this, but there's an entire programming language where you can sort of set up things to say, you know, whether you want, like, you know, I want an uppercase character followed by, you know, 4 lowercase characters and symbols and stuff like that, where you can really get quite complex. The programming language, incidentally, is in the help file, so you can usage macro language alert, and it tells you what these things are. I'm not going to use that, but it's there. Then what you've also got a dictionary based attack, so you hit on next. Right, so this is what we're going to use to find our word dictionary. So we're going to check the word as it is, but you can have sort of some mutations, for example. So, you know, so as it is with their, what they call their small English dictionary, going to take 8 seconds, right? So let's just try that, right? Run it. Okay, ran, didn't find the password though. Right, let's try our dictionary attack again. This time though, medium-sized dictionary. This one, 1 minute, 45 seconds. Right, so let's let that one go and see how we're going to carry on. Now, one thing that I do notice about this software is it tends to check the passwords in alphabetical order. It's found it already, right? So it's found the password as dictionary. Now, when it finds a password, you can click on it and it copies it to the clipboard for you, which is kind of handy. And then, so we will then kind of, if we go in here, go to our open, so it's this one, dictionary, open it up, ask for the password, Control V to paste, click OK, and we're in. Brilliant, right? So found that one relatively quickly, yeah? So that was pretty good. So what about up for Excel? Right, so I'm going to click in that. Next, right. So I've actually done a previous experiment on this and tried to run this default attack for that password. It didn't find it. Okay, so it took 3 days overnight, didn't find it. So I know that that is not going to work. And I think, to be fair to them, probably the reason it doesn't is because their dictionaries probably don't contain the word Excel. I think if that said something like up for sport or something like that, it probably would find it, because you can see the types of passwords it was checking as it was going along. It sort of, as it checks, it sort of shows you sort of like every other password or whatever that it's checking, or, you know, 1 per second that it happens to be looking at, and you can tell, you know, that it would find that. In fact, I did actually think it would find it, but it didn't. So let's show you how to use the mask then. So we've already said, so we know it's got all those 3 in, and we know it's 7 characters long, right? So let's, so from what I know about this password, and I mean, I wrote the password, so I darn well know what it is. It still says it's going to take 420 something years to find it, okay? So we're definitely going to need a mask, right? Now, imagine that we know what the first 2 characters are, and we don't know the rest. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Still saying it's going to take 40 days, right? It's really not good, yeah? So let's replace that with a 4. 15 hours. That with a capital E. Now down to 15 minutes. Actually, we've got an extra character here, haven't we? Yeah, so we're 15 minutes, sorry, there. So you can see as I'm typing in the password, right, 14 seconds if I've only got two characters missing. Now, the only reason that I think that might be slightly useful is for, you know, I used to have a password system where, you know, these passwords where they sort of say you have to use a different password every single month, like you might have at work or whatever. So if you're kind of rotating the last 2 digits, you have some kind of rotation system, but you just don't happen to know, you know, it could be anywhere from like, you know, 00 to 99 or something, or even a 3-digit one on the end. This will work pretty well, and it's guaranteed to find that, because it's just like running through every single thing. And also, especially if you know that's just a number, you can take those 2 off, look, and it's going to take 3 seconds. That's just too simple for it. That's all lowercase letters, actually. 1 minute 6 seconds, great. Right, let's run that, see what happens. So you can see it's sort of showing you some random. This isn't every single one it's trying, but yeah, there you go. Up for itself, found it. Next attack, this really difficult one here, right? Sorry, let's move that over there. This extract data, by the way, I don't think it's necessary. It doesn't seem to do anything different. Now that, you could say, well, let's run a default attack on it, but I happen to know that all default attacks take 3 days. It's not, I mean, I suppose it's worth a try, but it's certainly no guarantee of it finding the password. This is one, we know it's not a dictionary, we'd have to use a brute force, we've got to use everything, we're using special characters, you know, we've got no idea what the length is, so we'd have to go like 1 to maybe, let's do, you know, you just can't do it basically, you can't do it, never going to work. You need to know for a fact, I would say, that you're only looking for 4-digit password if you've got no idea about the password and you think it's got special characters in it. Best you could hope for is a 4-digit one, really. The moment you go up to 5, it's saying it's going to take a year to find it. And it just so happens this password starts with an A, so it probably wouldn't take a year. It'd take 1/26th of a year, but that is a long time. That's what, 2 weeks solid. And that's because it starts with an A, and I happen to know it runs through in alphabetical order. Okay, now that's all been tried actually on the one without the GPU. So if we actually put the same password, and this other software, by the way, works in exactly the same way. I'm going to chuck this on, I'm going to use the brute force, I'm going to put it to all the same settings here. So this is the sort of speed difference that you might be looking at if you were to invest the additional money in the Office-based version rather than the purely just Excel-based version. So brute force attack, all the same settings. This one, 1 year and 10 days. This one, 81 days. So what's that? Probably 5 times faster, that sort of order of magnitude there. Well, in fact, you can see the sort of speed it's suggesting that it's going to be able to run at. Now, I still think that's way too long, you know, especially as it's only 5 digits. You know, you're still realistically not going to be able to check anything up 7-digit ones. You know, you're long since 21 years, you might still be alive. Whether you want to get into the file or not by then, it's a different story, isn't it, right? So anyway, file open passwords. Unfortunately, there's no guarantee you're going to get into these things, but you know, if you know a bit about the password, you stand a way better chance. And if it's dictionary, you're straight in, really. Links to all this software is in the description, so have a look. If you're interested, go in and have a look. But there are various other things that this software can do that it can do instantly. So let's try it on some other types of passwords next. Now, even though I've got another video that shows you how to remove sheet protection completely for free, and it got 3 different ways on that video, This software is actually remarkably quick. So for $40 US, depending on what you consider your hourly rate to be, you might want to still invest in this to remove sheet passwords because it does it instantly. So fire up the software, drag that. This is a sheet protected password. I mean, look at the password I've used here. I mean, it's a really, really tricky, very long, special symbols, everything. You know, it's the kind of thing that it would say would take to the next big bang to actually crack if it was a file open password. I've dropped it in, hit this, remove all passwords. Right, it tells me it's done it, hit save. That's it, simple as that, right? Want some proof? Here it is. If I try and type, it says I can't do it. It's password protected. Right, so that's the original. Close that, open up the one that says it's unlocked. It's unlocked it. Doesn't tell you what the password is, definitely unlocked though. So that is completely instant, and that's just on the Excel version. Obviously the Office version will do the same, but it's going to cost you more. You don't, it probably would do it faster, but crikey, it was instant anyway. Other types of things it can remove are the VBA project passwords. So again, let's just chuck in a really complicated one, or the most complicated one I've set up. Again, instantly, can be removed instantly. Remove all the passwords, remove it. It says it's unlocked, save it. Let's do some proof again. So I'll open this up. Alt F11 for the VBA editor. Wants a password. Okay. Let's now open up, the one that says it's unlocked. Let's just enable that macro there, but straight in, look, straight in. Here's the code. You just, yeah, no problem. Now, that actually is probably worth a bit of investment, because those passwords to crack, you're going to need software anyway. Now, you can do it with a hex editor, and you can get hex editors for free, you know, and if I've got another video on how to do that, I'll put the link below. At the time of recording this, I've not yet recorded one to break the VBA passwords, but I definitely will. So have a look in the description if you want to know how to do that completely for free. But of course, this software will do it instantly. So it might take you like a quarter of an hour or whatever to do it via a hex editor. So you want to save yourself a quarter of an hour for $40, or if you need to do it often as well. And of course, the great thing about this, probably shouldn't say it, but I will, is that if you buy some commercial spreadsheets, you can go in and have a look at, you know, you can use this tool. You can go in, you can have a, you know, glance around their code, you know, maybe pick up a few coding tips, see how things are working, maybe, you know, kind of edit a few things you don't like about the code if you're feeling super confident. All kind of handy, or just, you know, just copy and paste a bit of code around into your own projects. And of course, somebody's now going to do that on the files I sell probably, but whatever. Yeah, so good for that. Modify. This is where you open a file. You've got a read-only button, or you can have a password to open it. It can't remove the modify password, doesn't even know it's there. So if I close this, you'll see what I mean. So drag that over there onto here. It says it's not password protected, but all you need to do there is open it read only like that and do file, save as, and whenever you say what you save it as, you just get a copy of the file and you can modify it to your heart's content. So not really worth cracking. So the final type of passwords in Excel, workbook structure protection. Strangely, this won't remove them. If I click on there, well, it just tells you that it hasn't got a password. Well, I can assure you it has. So it's kind of odd. Go to review here, look, you can see it's got a password. Won't let you do it. So how are you going to get around that? Well, I have a full video on removing sheet protection, links in the description, and the third method in that will also remove workbook protection. So I go through the method in detail in that video, but before you sort of jump over and look at this video, I just need to show you one slight difference. So what's happening here is, and you do this for free, it's actually relatively quick. You need to change the file extension, assuming it's an XLSX or an XLSA or M. You change the extension to a zip file. Incidentally, something I don't say in the other video that has come out in the sort of questions is that if you have an XLSB file, so binary Excel file, you'll need to save it as an XLSX file before you do this, because binary files, you can't use this method. Turn it to a zip file. Sure you want to change it? Yes, I do. If I just open it with the Windows Explorer for now, just so, because everybody's got that. There's a folder called Excel, might be other folders than this. It's a very simple file. Click on that. You'll have, so normally to remove sheet protection, you go into the worksheets and you see the sheets, but actually I want to go into the workbook.xml file. I'm going to open it. Right, I'm going to use Notepad, and in here, if we do a search for the word protect, you'll see workbook protection there, and effectively you need to remove this code, right? And you'll see where it ends there. Now you can make a note of that and put it back again and things like that, and I go through a lot more detail on exactly how you go about saving the file and things like that. But essentially that's what you need to do. You need to delete that. You need to save all of this, re-zip it back up, change it back to an Excel file, and that will remove it. But like I say, that's just an overview of how you do it. Go to the other video. I'll show you in a lot more detail. Right, so the fact that this software doesn't remove workbook structure protection doesn't really matter, because you can do it like that, and it's, once you're used to it, it's actually pretty simple. So that's it. Full review of Accent Excel Password Recovery and Accent Office Password Recovery software, plus the you've got that online system as well if you've got an older type of Excel file. All links in the description. Far better if you know quite a lot about your password already, in which case I would recommend it. I don't think you're going to find any software that's significantly faster than this. The fact that it's got GPU acceleration is great in my book, and the other great feature is that you can like pause it at any time. So if you've got something that thinks it's going to take 3 days to crack, and their standard process does take about 3 days to crack, then yeah, just run it overnight, 3 days running, and see how you get on. Use at your discretion. See you soon.